Hello. After my last video, I had a very interesting conversation with a good player who disagreed with me that ace king off is always a shove against the 3-bet. My coaching is about game theory, exploit, simplification, strategies in general. Therefore, I remind him that I recommended to shove ace king off against the 3-bet for beginners, losing players, or micro-stakes players. And by micro-stakes players, I mean those who struggle to beat it and move up, so they have a low win rate, a break even, or even slight losers. In this video, I'll show you why pre-flop simplification and pre-flop strategy is so important and how it affects your post-flop. I will not only use the ace king off hand, but also a completely different hand in a different spot. But let's see first this. I recommended you to always shove against a 3-bet if you're a micro-stakes player, even though GTO Wizard says it's highest frequency for a normal 4-bet size. Let's see what can happen if you use a normal 4-bet size. Big blind checks to us on 6-3-2 rainbow, and what do? I assume most micro-stakes player probably won't know whether there's a check back here or not, but would c-bet this with about 25% pot bet. And this is a good strategy, as you can see here. But what if our opponent shoves? Re-raise all in? Is it a fold or a call? I assume that many micro-stakes player, they have a thought process that goes kind of like, I believe my opponent has pocket pairs, maybe a straight, I should always be behind, therefore I fold. Other players, they make this ugly face, this face when you don't want to call, but you think you have to call, so they look ugly, they make a bad face, and they call. But the truth is, neither of them know exactly how much of a difference there is between calling and folding at this stage of their career. Let's have a look. If we decide to fold, we are having a huge blunder. See the call, it's 14 big blinds better with this suit exactly. If it was a different suit, it would be maybe 10 big blinds. Truth is, if the board changes a bit, let's say there's a flush draw, or the 6 becomes an 8, the EV goes down even more. Our opponent also, truth be said, has a different shoving range than GTO Wizard, so likely our EV is a bit less. Still, it is a blunder to fold here. And my recommendation to shove ace king off pre-flop is because in 4-bet pots, there's a lot of money in the middle. And whenever there's a lot of money in the middle, your mistakes cost you more. So if you can simplify. Shove ace king off, it will be the same EV, basically. It is true that in poker you can't run away from tough spots. There will always be situations where you don't know what to do, you will make blunders. But if there's a way to reduce the amount of times you don't know what to do, I am here. This is why I coach. I tell you a strategy that will be easier to execute and will put you in less tough spots. Let's see at the other hand now that I've prepared. It's a queen 10 suited on the big blind against the small blind open raise. Do we call or do we 3-bet? This is the question. If we look at a pre-flop range from GTO Wizard, we can see the red here is 3-bet and the green is call. It calls more than it 3-bets, but it mixes. It mixes because it's the same EV, as you can see on the right. Raise 10, which is a 3-bet, is the same EV as call. Let's look back. I recommend micro-stakes players, and I can't tell all micro-stakes players. It will depend a little bit on your current level, but generally I recommend micro-stakes player to always call queen 10 suited here. Never 3-bet. I'll explain to you why. Let's say we 3-bet this hand. This could happen, our opponent 4-bets. Do you know what to do now? Is it a fold, a call, all in? Well, the answer is here. Queen 10 suited, theoretically, has to call. The green here, always call. Look at the EVs on the right. 2.5 almost, call. Whereas a fold, obviously, is 0 EV. So if you fold here, you chucked 2.5 big blinds in the bin. It is true that your opponent, again, they have different 4-bet ranges and also different 4-bet sizes. So when the size is different, it will change. But we are using against this size. And when you look at the first here, the first range with the queen 10 suited, when I said that call and 3-bet is the same EV, It is true if you are a good player and know how to react against the 4-bet. But if you don't know what to do, you didn't know that was a call and you fold, then your EV goes down for 3-betting because of these mistakes. But now let's see what could happen post-flop. We decide to call because it's the best play to do, and post-flop on this board, check 9-5, our opponent uses a 50% c-bet size, which he should do a lot. I assume at micro-stakes you would look, and then I'm not sure if you see the backdoor flush draw, but you see you have an open-ended straight draw, and therefore you call, which is of course good. But some players, micro-stakes players, they get a bit impatient. They see a draw, and then a draw, they go crazy and shove. I mean, it's not terrible, but the best play here is to call. Our opponent decides to shove. Who watched my second video will already know what to do in this situation. For those of you who haven't watched, do you believe this is a call or fold? The answer is a fold is the right play. If you call, look on the right, you lose 22 big blinds. So if you thought Queen 10 suited there is a call because of the straight draw, if you play 10 NL, this would mean you're losing about $2.26. Not good, right? But this happens at micro-stakes plays, those blunders, because pre-flop you 3-bet. Well, now let's look at the pre-flop ranges again. I'm by no means saying that you should never 3-bet on the big blind against a small blind, because it is true that our opponents, they will not 4-bet enough, therefore 3-betting is profitable. But I think you could do it with different hands. There are a couple of hands that are easier to play as a 3-bet than those. And those hands are already so good to play when you call. When you call with these hands in positions, you will have a very good time against your opponents. So I recommend you to call all these hands I'm highlighting here, Ace 10, King 10, Queen 10 suited, and 3-bet more of those rubbish hands, trashy hands. They look horrible. Here, King 5 suited, King 6 suited, Queen 6, offsuit of course, King 6 offsuit, King 5 suited, offsuit, Queen 7, Queen 6 offsuit, those offsuit aces, I would 3-bet them even more than recommended. The reason is, let's take the King 5 off. You 3-bet this, your opponent 4-bets. Everyone knows this is a fold. Everyone who plays micro-stakes regularly. So easy decision. But let's say your opponent calls. You will be in position in a 3-bet pot. In a 3-bet pot in position, it is a lot easier to play than potentially in a 4-bet pot. You can c-bet a lot, even if you don't know, okay, small blind, big blind has often a bigger c-bet size, you don't know this, no problem. You use the wrong size, c-bet the wrong frequency, the mistakes aren't big. Another reason would be that trashy hands, you either hit top pair, 2 pair, 3 of a kind maybe, and then you c-bet the 3-bet pot, and you face a raise. You know exactly. You have nothing, you fold. You have the top pair, you usually call, and yeah, it's a lot easier decisions. This is why my recommendation here goes to 3-betting more trashy hands and calling more of the nicer looking hands. Feel free to contact me on Instagram or the email address or Discord I'm leaving here in the YouTube description to ask me more about my coaching, to comment about poker in general. Any feedback on this video, if you disagree with my strategy, just let me know in the comments and I'll see what I do in the next ones. If you like the program I'm using here, the software, it's called GTO Wizard. I have a link here in the description, copy and paste it, and if you sign up through it, you will get 10% off on your first purchase. Thank you very much for watching and see you in the next one.